95% are snowflakes that have taken the test. As I said last night, only one of you scored non-snowflake status. And that's where we are. Now, since 1985, 2/3 of, they have such thing as sperm banks. People want to donate their sperm and shit like that. Since 1985, 2/3 of the sperm donated at sperm banks are given back. They're not accepted. Not fucking accepted! Looking around this room, I believe that. Why aren't they accepted? Because there's no lead in the pencil. Is that the guy that's not here yet?
No, we don't know who he is.
I hope he's either dead or...
We did.
On that happy note about dead, when you tell me in your weekly reports, the sooner is always better than later. And most of you used to, I'm going to get it done by July instead of as soon as possible. When you tell me something, and when you tell a high performance person, and you tell Mr. Gates or Mr. Buffett or Mr. Jobs when he was alive, unless you were dead, I mean literally dead, you, not your mother, not your slag girlfriend, you, or you're in a motherfucking coma, you in a coma, not your mother, not your sister, you get it done. Words are important, so be careful what the fuck you tell me, because I really don't care if your mother's in a fucking coma. One of my favorite, a couple of people in this room can appreciate this. If you were at war, you'd be dead. A couple of people in this room appreciate that more than the rest. But nobody's ever held you accountable. Nobody gives a shit. It's wishy-washy. The beginning of the end of the world, in my humble opinion, and there's nothing humble about me, was when a book was written, I'm okay, you're okay. They should have put at the end, cha-cha-cha, by Dr. Stein, a psychiatrist, back in the late 60s. That means whatever you want to do is okay, and whatever I want to do is okay, and everybody's going to be happy. That is such a load of shit. It's beyond my comprehension. Because everything you fucking do is not okay with me. And everything I do should not be okay with you. I.e. the snowflake test. The second question. Somebody spits in your wife or your girlfriend's face. There's only one fucking answer for that. And most of you in this room didn't answer it that way. At least 50%, not of this room, but of the people that have taken the test, and so far, we have 95% of snowflakes, 95. Of the thousands that have taken it, 50% of them say, well, I try to ascertain if they were having a bad day and where they were coming from for them to say, to do such a thing. Are you fucking kidding me? The first 4 or 5 of those, I thought it was a joke. What does them and their status of their mind for that day have anything to do with them spitting in your wife's face? 95% are snowflakes that have taken the test. As I said last night, only one of you scored non-snowflake status. And that's where we are. Now, since 1985, 2/3 of, they have such thing as sperm banks. People want to donate their sperm and shit like that. Since 1985, 2/3 of the sperm donated at sperm banks are given back. They're not accepted. Not fucking accepted! Looking around this room, I believe that. Why aren't they accepted? Because there's no lead in the pencil. Can you fucking believe that? 2/3 of all sperm donated is given back. Another shocking statistic, since 1985, a man's handshake used to register a male man in his mid-20s used to be 118 pounds of pressure. 118 pounds of pressure. Last year, 98 pounds of pressure. Exactly equivalent to a woman's handshake. When I tell you it's over for us, there's no coming back. The human race is fucking through. I like the sperm one better. Of course, now the girls, they think and they shake hands. I mean, give me a break, That's, to me, when a woman goes, that's insulting to me. I want to smack her. Can't do that, though. Last night, you saw the founder, the life and legend of Ray Kroc, which I never had the privilege of meeting. But he's legendary for the shit that he did. And you saw what I call I believe it was the backward bicycle. And you saw who understood the backward bicycle so much more readily. The kid. And he was able to do it, and then he was able to relearn it. And the old man, and I've tried the backward bicycle. I never was able to ride it, so I had to try it. But that's where you are here. And it's not easy, as depicted in the little few-minute video. You're going to go through a thing called cognitive dissonance, which I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about in the second and third day. But it's basically the backward bicycle. You are given a new set of facts that are contrary to the facts that you've been growing up learning, and they're not the same. And when you go to and your default is that upbringing. That default is that training. My default is, because I've been doing it so long, is QLA. I don't know anything else. I'm this way when I get up in the morning. I'm this way when I go to sleep at night. The greatest challenge you'll have is you'll fall into default. Why do you fall into default? Because of your wife, your kids, your parents, your mates. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That's your default. I went to what would be called a sports bar with Sally when we were in Florida, at the University of Florida, Gainesville. Gainesville is a college town. And I don't think I've ever been in a sports bar. It had about 30 or 40 TV screens all around the walls and all kinds of sports events. And one of the screens had great fights from the 60s, the 50s, the 70s. And Sally couldn't understand why we're watching. And we happened to sit in front of that screen while we're watching fights from, didn't that happen in 1976? And, you know, the Thrill in Manila and all. And I said, I have no idea. But anyway, so we're watching the, and that's for most of you in this room. That's part of your, if it's not sports bars, it's pubs. That's your default. That's your default. Bill Gates doesn't go to the Super Bowl. Steve Jobs didn't go to the World Series. Warren Buffett doesn't go to the Super Bowl or the World Cup. Success leaves clues. So virtually all the things that you've learned to do growing up, you don't do what your parents tell you to do or told you to do. You do what you see them do. And for the most part, most of you have had bad examples, bad role models. And I pointed out last night, 2 or 3 of you had good role model parents, high performance. In one case, super high performance, and then you didn't follow it. Now, I blame the parents for not beating you to follow it. Because in the male brain, the frontal lobe is not fully developed until you're between 26 and 28. The frontal fucking lobe. We got a lot of, how many people do we have less than 28 years old in this room? Please raise your hand. You're still maturing. Now in my case, they say my frontal lobe never developed because I'm still a kid. I do a lot of crazy shit that I used to do as a kid. I just kept doing it. It's only by a serendipity and an act to Allah. And by the way, I'm not a Muslim. Somebody asked me in 2012, the videos say I start talking about Allah. Not because I'm a Muslim, it's just because I want to cover all the bases. So just everybody understands. I was born and raised a Catholic. Still am. Okay, Roman Catholic. And so those are the difficulties. Okay, what are the takeaways? By the way, pass your homework in. What are the takeaways from the backward bicycle? No, you don't hand it to me. You pass it. Okay, what are the takeaways from the backward bicycle?
The entire video was based on default, and it's a lot fucking harder to change your default, and it's easier to slip right back into it. He took him 8 months to get out of it, but he only took him that when he was in Copenhagen, where the fuck were all the bikes. It took him like a couple of minutes or something like that to go right back.
Okay, pass it in. Does everybody pass it in? Okay. What else about the bicycle? Yes, sir.
It seems like a lot of people quit. The expectation is you're going to fail, so a lot of people fail. And they didn't keep going. The one guy persisted.
Now, my expectation wasn't I was going to fail, because I don't fail at many things. I was fucking flabbergasted I couldn't fucking do it. I mean, the first time on. I was, because I normally, thank you. But that is what will happen, and it's not. I'm telling you because so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm telling you because after almost 25 years of doing this, I know what happens. You know, we've had 2 superstars, phenoms in 25 years. 1 woman, 1 man, both kids. That's not by accident. And we've had a lot of gifted people come through here, many of which are on the Hall of Fame, and everybody that's should be on the Hall of Fame is not, because not everybody wants the notoriety. There's a number of people that aren't up there because they don't want to be up there, but deserve to be up there. See, most people want the wealth, money, but not everybody wants the notoriety. Sally, who's a chartered accountant, believes it's because not everybody pays their taxes. That could be, I don't know. Okay, you saw anything else, any other comments about the backward bicycle? Yes, sir.
It's like the saying, it's just like riding a bike. It's like, that's the first thing you learn when you're a kid is how to ride a bike. And then you try to undo all that, do it backwards.
Well, and the first thing you learn is, I'm going to tell you to be selfish. And what do most of your parents have told you not to be selfish? Share the toys. You know, no, nix, 9. Okay, and and most of you, the first day you go out to school, and your mother sometimes walks you to school when you're a little kindergarten. Right. Okay, fine. And they tell you, be a good boy, be a good girl, and don't get in trouble, and don't, all that horse shit. No! That's why you're all fucked up. And we're going to explain why. Not to be ruthless, not to be, but unless you love your self-esteem is built the first 7 years of life, 7 or 8 years. Unless you love yourself, you can't love anybody else. You can't be a good parent. You can't be a good leader. You can't be anything. You got to have self-esteem. Okay, you also saw the founder. What are the takeaways about Mr. Kroc?
So, okay, about how he became ruthless. It wasn't just overnight. He slowly, during the relationship with his partners, he saw the idea, he wanted it, he was selfish about it. And so he started fighting the contract initially. That didn't fucking work. And then he went to the instant mix milkshake. He didn't fucking care what they wanted. He just did it anyway. And then he got rid of his fucking old friends, including his wife. He dumped her.
Remember? Boom! To the curb.
Then he stole his buddy's girl.
Yeah, right. He fucking wanted it. He took it.
Work colleague, yeah.
Yeah.
This is part.
He never stopped expanding his dream team.
But
The people were useful, he brought them in.
he became ruthless because he was tired of failing.
No. He was always, you don't just become ruthless overnight, but default keeps you. We were cavemen one time. 200,000 years ago, you saw a slag, and she was whistling, you just cracked him in the fucking head with a club and drug the slag off and fucked her in the ass. That was it. We still have those genes. And when President Trump got in trouble for saying, I wanted to squeeze her titties, there's not a man that's got a dick that knows how to use it that hasn't thought that shit once in his fucking life. Not one fucking man. And when I was traveling around the country talking to people as I do for free, and I knew he was going to win, but people were afraid to tell other people they were going to vote for him. And when this old slag, Roseanne, 18 fucking million people watch this fucking show. She is a Trump supporter extraordinaire. Those 18 million, he's going to win. He's going to win bigger the next time than he did the last time. And it's got the liberal fucking Democrats and whoever else, their asses are puckering up. Because down deep inside, you know that China's been fucking us in America over in tariffs. Down deep, and everybody's complained about it for 50 fucking years. He's doing things. People say I have a Hall of Famer, double Harvard degree, which doesn't mean anything, but he's a double Harvard degree kid. Dan says stuff we only dare to think, but don't utter, because we're afraid of the consequences of what people will think. If you even become liberated 5 or 10% of you don't care what other people think, you'll be billionaires. Absolute. And I don't give any fucking guarantees in this seminar. But it's a motherfucker. Because at the end of the day, you want your mom or mother to think well of you. Is there any forget logic. Is there any rational reason why it's better for your mom to think well of you? Give me one. You can't. You can think from now until Christmas. There's not one. Other than your default, you're a cunt. And by cunt, I don't mean a female part. I mean you're a coward. You're a coward. What else about Mr. Kroc?
Never shared that.
I may be wrong, but I'm never in doubt.
Mega success has its price to action and its full-time job.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
He's also consistent.
Yes.
He had a great ability to sell his bigger vision, his bigger dream to other potential investors as well.
And when you're selling for your dream team, and for the people that, for whatever reason, can't make this happen for themselves, it's because they have not been effective selling their idea, their dream. Now, it can't be an idea, it's got to be a dream. It's got to be your passion to your dream team. And when we talk about building dream teams, the most important person on the dream team is your chairman. What else about...
I feel like he stopped holding back, put himself in that.
Well, I mean, we can rationalize anything. I used to rationalize hitting you guys in the 90s because you asked me to back in the 90s. Whether it was right or wrong, I don't really give a shit. But I mean, you can rationalize anything. For those of you that have cheated on your significant others, you always got a reason. Okay, on that happy note,